Hello, welcome to Taking It Down. You know, there's no podcast out there for the working class made by the working class. Well, until now. With us at Taking It Down, we know that there's a lot of television shows. They're scattered, numerous options. You work, what's worth your time and your dollar if you're not borrowing some passwords. No judgment here. Then the podcast this week and every week, you'll hear if a show's for you. Decide if you want to give it a try, since we begin every episode with no spoiler thoughts on each of the shows. And then in the back half, we use our thoughtful, hopefully, working class, unique point of view to analyze and dissect the shows. This is for you on the bus or in the car on the way home to figure out what you'll settle in to watch before tomorrow's factory bell rings. On this episode, we're going to briefly discuss our unplanned 2 weeks away, these last 2 weeks. My co-host Adam will be away for a while. And then the show's DTF St. Louis, its penultimate episode. Rooster, its midpoint on HBO. And the Apple TV series Shrinking with its season finale. And we'll include a listener email in the spoilers, so hang out for that if you have watched DTF St. Louis. Let me rope in Adam and Donovan and get them in here. Let's begin.
Alabama take projection.
We were gone for 2 weeks, completely unplanned. Donovan, do you want to talk about your jail time? Is this the space for that?
Are those documents sealed?
I'll be honest with listeners, I had a bit of a mental health episode and went and seen a doctor, and I feel like my medication's kind of on the up and up. I probably look better to the guys. I don't know. Worse, better, changed.
I think he looks great.
Great. Horny. It's making them. All right, here we are. Adam, this is your last time for 4 weeks, I think, that listeners won't hear from you because, drum roll, you'll be on tour with your duo, Sister Ray Davies, happening in the UK.
I will be. You said drum roll. I got Donovan's about to say something funny, I'm sure, but
not really.
I've been dwelling on the fact that I can't roll my R's, and so when you said drum roll, as if to fish for somebody to do the ba-da-da-da-da-da noise, I was like, he's about to say something nice about me, but now I can't roll my R's. I just feel bad about myself.
As I picture Adam driving around the UK, all I hear is the Mrs. Featherbottom going, "Look at all the bobbies."
Me screaming, "Oh, I forgot that we're driving on the left side. We're not in the colonies anymore."
You should say that.
Which I am frankly horrified about.
Yeah. For some reason, one of my childhood memories involves watching TV and my mom looking at my dad and asking, "Do you think you could drive in England?" And my dad saying, "I'd have to get used to it, but yeah."
I'm going to recall this recollection of yours as a wellspring of confidence.
I mean,
whenever I have to start driving.
Roy Duncan Jr. thought he could do it. Do you know the first couple of show dates off the top of your head for English listeners?
We start on Friday in Nottingham.
This releases Tuesday. If you're listening on Tuesday, it's not Friday yet. You can go see Sister Ray Davies, Adam, Todd Bean filling in for Sister Ray Davies. Where will you be?
We're going to be everywhere, man.
Friday, though. Friday.
Nottingham.
Nottingham?
Yep.
I didn't know if you knew the venue.
It's called Billy's Bootleggers.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Quite a name. That one sticks in your brain.
It does.
Yeah.
Saturday?
Coventry.
In London?
No, in Coventry.
I'm so well-traveled.
I'm sorry, I'm not being very helpful.
I'm leaving this in.
Part of a record store day thing, so it's at a record store called Just Dropped In.
And those records you were posting online, for those who follow Sister Ray Davies on social media, is that what you're promoting in the record store? Those specifically, or just both of them?
Both of them, but we just happened to be in the area to do this record store day. It's like at night. It's not like a day show. They also do shows there. So
oh, cool.
But yeah, the EP comes out on Friday, which is very exciting because I've never been a part of essentially a remix EP of work that I've done. So it's one remix by us, 2 contributions from us. So one is a remix and one is a re-recording of one of the songs. We got like 10 of our friends to all play acoustic guitar at the same time to have, it's like live shoegaze, It just kind of, it warbles in this really cool way. Yeah. And then there's 2 fellows that did remixes, 3 songs between them for 3 of the other tracks. So that's coming out on Friday.
It's cool. That's a Sonic Cathedral kind of thing, though, right?
Yeah, Sonic Cathedral. That kind of headed up the effort to put that together. But if you are listening in the U.S., you can order. I'm doing the whole spiel here. Just really shilling for it.
Hey, man, I think some of our listeners, maybe not all, but they can skip ahead, are interested in what we're doing. Yeah.
If you want to hear it, if you want to own they're really cool 10-inch records. So not a ton of those on offer most of the time. It's usually either the 7-inch single or the full 12-inch record. But they're really beautiful. I had nothing to do with the art, so I feel comfortable saying that. We got our copies, but yeah, you can order. They'll ship stateside from Well Kept Secret. Sister
Ray Davies on Bandcamp. If you follow them on Instagram, that's probably where they're the most active. Maybe TikTok. Do you still do some things for TikTok?
I did an experiment. So the experiment on TikTok was I want to understand where the youth are hanging out.
Good luck.
In order not to, I know that's already like an old man thing to say, but like to not be too thoroughly left behind. And I downloaded it and used it quite a bit. And I was like, to effectively use this for this band, I have to myself be addicted to TikTok.
Yeah, you do. That's why. Yes.
That was my theory.
Yes.
Because you can't, if you're just like,
Yeah.
I could always sniff it out back in the day when like somebody joined Instagram or Twitter exclusively to promote themselves.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of out of touch with the rhythms of it. So used it for a while, and then I did we could call it the exit experiment. I deleted the app. You ever delete something that you're kind of addicted to on your phone and you find yourself swiping to where it used to be? I didn't do that one time with TikTok.
Yeah.
It was just, it was gone.
Me either. I had it briefly as well. And the Alabama Take and Taking It Down both still have TikTok accounts, and both are regularly posted about once a week. For Taking It Down, about once a week, we promote our episode every Tuesday or Wednesday, but I never really check it much. I check it about that much, maybe once a week, just to double check, make sure no one's messaged me. If you want to message the Alabama Take, though, or Taking It Down, just go through the Alabama Take. Probably the best way is to post on the website a comment. If it's a comment you want everyone to see, if it's something you don't want everyone to see, just email the Alabama Take at Gmail, because I am no longer on social media. I just so happened to catch Sister Ray Davies doing recording with all the guitars, and that was really cool. I guess Adam had posted it a day before I went online, so it fed me that pretty early.
That's why you're asking where the shows are. You don't know.
I don't know.
You haven't seen them.
Like, when you're not on social media, you really don't know things.
I'm going to tell you all about it.
Give me the first 3.
Three sold out shows already.
They're sold out. Well, shit, we can't help viewers there or listeners.
Well, they're not. It's not the first 3. I was enjoying you trying to figure out where Coventry was. I thought maybe we could do that again with another city.
That was
Let's
fun.
do it again. What's the next city then after Coventry?
Oh, Todmorden. Where do you think Todmorden is?
West of London. That's an easy guess because everything's west of London.
Yeah, I was going to say this is.
That's not fair. Well, how about northwest London?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's also kind of a cop-out, but that's pretty good.
There are a few things south of London, but yeah.
This is
okay,
true.
so what's the venue there?
A spot called the Golden Lion.
Nice.
But we have one night off and we're going to Lindisfarne.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Which is the wellspring of the record. And we're actually going to stay on the island, this is an island.
Dude, you're going to message us from there? You going to be able to?
Yeah, there has cell service. Sweet. Maybe a dispatch from Lindisfarne will be necessary, but
we expect pictures.
Kind of adjacent to at least my folk horror love on the show. There's a causeway that goes out, and then the tide comes in, and you can no longer access this island.
That's exactly right.
We would watch this show if it came on.
Tell you what, if Adam sends us a picture or two, we'll post it online.
There you go.
That's probably more than enough from 2 guys who aren't exactly wild about sharing their personal lives, albeit Adam's is very cool. Mine was just a hospital stay, thank you. 2 notable and general thoughts on TV before we hone in on those 3 different shows I mentioned at the top. The Pitt, still crushing it. I know y'all get tired of me saying this, but I want us to add it because of this reason. One of the actors in these last 3 episodes of The Pitt, 2 episodes, 2 or 3, one of the actors is also one of our actors from Shrinking. I won't go into detail in case anyone hasn't seen it, but he shows up as a doctor, and it is so cool. It is a good, solid performance to see this actor in a completely different role. You can see bits of his performance from Shrinking, but also so different. That said, there's been a lot of talk online this week on how viewers should watch The Pitt. I don't know if you've seen these headlines at all. It's an interesting discussion. It's kind of one we have here every now and again. We could easily have it about 2/3 of our 3 shows today. Do people watch television wrong at times? Is there a wrong way to watch it? And I say, absolutely. Usually the series holds your hand early, whatever you're watching. And if it doesn't, that's a good sign that anything goes. So if it's guided you through 10 episodes, they're not going to do anything wild in episode 11. I think people have tried to do this with Shrinking. I think people have tried to do this with
DTF?
No, I think it's fair on that.
Oh, Rooster?
I think people have done this with Rooster. I've seen it very mildly done where they're trying to do some guessing where the show is not asking for any guesswork at all. It's like, that's not this kind of show. You've been watching too many episodes of Lost or even maybe The Sopranos or something. People did this heavily with Mad Men, and it was like, no, didn't go there.
Mad Men teased us, though.
There was a tease element to Mad Men, and I think occasionally Shrinking teases a little, but I don't think it's as far-fetched as some people think it's teasing you.
There was a reviewer for the AV Club, but every time they would review something, they would just speculate about half the review is and it never happened. It's stop.
Yes.
Stop speculating. Just review the episode in front of you.
It's around the time I quit AV Club and decided to start doing this on my own.
Yeah.
That was an era, though, I think, if you just grab Mad Men in isolation, yeah, you can kind of say, sure, they were teasing a little bit, but also you should have just been down for the ride week to week. But, this was coming out of, the Breaking Bad era, where things were...
That's a better example.
It was fun to think...
Yeah.
To try to assemble it like a puzzle. True Detective Season 1, probably the classic example of at least one man in then Tuscaloosa, Alabama, being driven to absolute insanity week to week. It was me. I was the man.
Lost is the vintage example.
Yeah.
It was funny being in the hospital and there with some other folks, and there were 2 channels going almost simultaneously, I think. The Mad Men channel, it was really just AMC something. They call it AMC
Stories.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, because that blue screen pops up and it's AMC Stories. It's so...
And they can't sell enough commercial space for it, so it just stays on that screen sometimes.
Yeah,
it's very
on that
calming.
Screen, and it'll just kind of soothe you for a second.
You think I ain't spent time with the Mad Men channel?
Oh, buddy. Well, I did the Mad Men channel, and I also did the Breaking Bad channel. Now, me and the guy who were hanging out quite a lot, we'd both seen Breaking Bad, but he hadn't seen Mad Men. So watching someone watch Mad Men for the first time was kind of funny. I would catch him up on a couple of things if I thought it was just super pertinent, but then I didn't let him.
That's tough to just drop in on Mad Men.
He kind of got it. He was like, oh, okay, so this guy, he didn't use the word pimp, but he was like, he's kind of a player. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Kind
he was like, oh, wait, he's married. Yeah, he's married. And it was just...
That's kind of the pilot episode, isn't it?
No, this was late season 2.
Well, I'm saying that's the reveal at the end of the pilot episode of...
Yeah, that's the big reveal. But if you just drop into it, it feels a little bit more soap opera dramatic than deeper drama.
It does. Yeah, because you don't understand. It's it builds on itself so much that without that, absolutely. It doesn't have the depth necessarily.
So Mad Men may have been the wrong example for me to pull from because it does tease the longer you watch. But yes, I do think people watch Shrinking a little wrong here and there, and I do think that they are watching Rooster a little wrong just here and there. It's not as bad as The Pitt.
Why would you try to extract what's going to happen next from... I mean, I guess Rooster, something kind of happens every episode.
I will tell you in spoilers what they're trying to guess.
Okay. Shrinking, I think I know. I think I could guess. But Shrinking is just like a vibes show where you're rooting for the people generally. You know what I mean? What's the point in trying to guess?
That's what mystifies me, man.
This is exactly the way I feel. I haven't watched Shrinking, but I can't imagine. Like, watching Rooster being like, what's going to happen? It's like, why are you watching it like that, man? Just
they watch
settle
everything
down.
this way. That's the idea I'm getting.
I have an author I really like who's famously cryptic and hard to figure out. And people will hang out on Reddit and try and figure out what he was actually talking about.
Yeah.
And, like, I saw somebody commenting on some of these people once where it was like they're all science fiction nerds and they haven't read any literature, so they don't understand what's going on. So it turns into like, oh, everything's like a weird logic puzzle. But it's like, no, sometimes it's like he's doing it, something dramatic is happening, something, you know, as opposed, like, I think there's more to it than just like, I'm going to connect the dots Charlie style and I'm going to figure out.
I think they're confusing a bit of foreshadowing versus something that's made to unlock like a puzzle. Yeah.
Yes.
Where I think DTF
Yes.
asks you to do that. That's what keeps you coming back. Did you guess this? Did you guess that? A little bit of it. Of course, there's a lot more going on, which I think it makes it a higher level drama and worthy of our discussion.
What hooks you in DTF to me is the human
Yes.
feeling that, like, but even that's kind of a puzzle, but not really one to be solved. You know what I mean?
I think Adam hit the nail on the head there, because, like, watching it for the plot, I'm like, I just assume I'm probably not going to know what's going on, especially with the way that they've, you know, the timeline is kind of recursive. Like, we get more and more insight. But yeah, like, it's like the real puzzle is man. But I think that's exactly it, right? Is because, like, what makes it good is that these reveals aren't just like just twists and turns, but it's like, oh, okay, that shines a light on this thing that this person did, and that recontextual, you know, I like that.
Especially when you have main characters telling the story who could just tell you what happened.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's really, I don't know. I mean, obviously all stories are being, like, invented in some way and they're being revealed to us by their creator. But when there's, like, a character on screen with that knowledge, it's like, I just assume that they're going to do that part of the job for me. You know what I mean? So it's not that necessary to do the guesswork.
Yes.
Like something like Breaking Bad or True Detective, where, like, we don't know what's going to happen. That was more fun to try to guess at it. It's like, if two people were honest in DTF, this show is like 2 episodes long.
Let's continue with DTF St. Louis, and I'll come back to something I'll mention. I'll do it at the very end of non-spoilers. In case you're debating watching DTF St. Louis, it is on its finale. It's already aired today. We've got famed St. Louis weatherman Clark Forrest, which is becoming a obscure term. Famed.
The weatherman?
Yeah, famed weatherman.
You know, I thought about this as I was watching this week's episode, and not much of a spoiler, that he kind of wonders aloud about the place of his job in the world. The South, we're going to hang on to weathermen longer than a lot of other regions, I think.
You know, this is actually something that not everybody in Connecticut, but, like, for winter weather and stuff, even if they don't have their favorite, there's one network channel for the whole state, because it's not very big, right? So we got one CBS, one ABC, one Fox.
Yeah, okay.
And so you've got people who are like, oh, I always watch WFSB. Like, they always are accurate about the weather. Yeah. So they still have that, you know, like if there's snow or whatever. And yeah, Blaine, they're all out of Hartford.
Do we get this far without mentioning James Spann?
Oh, I was ready. That was my next contribution.
Should he have been playing Clark Forrest? Is this a different show with James Spann as Clark Forrest?
What if he had met him at, there's a
down the line
conference?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A weatherman, which they don't show any of, but that's a real missed opportunity for Spann, I think.
Weatherman convention, yeah.
He's got to be like a rock star, right?
In Alabama, yeah.
Well, I mean, in the weather
world, yeah, I bet.
One would think.
Man, keeps people alive.
Yes. Kept me alive.
I'm not even being flippant. Yeah.
I know. It's true. I mean, it's true. I mean, every time, right, you're sheltering, you're like, I hope the power stays on, because James Spann's going to really tell me when I need to hit the deck.
Yeah. Clark befriends Floyd Smurnich in the weather business, because Floyd's a, interpreter? For the weather. That's Jason Bateman and David Harbour. Thrown into the mix is Carol Love Smirnich. She's played by Linda Cardinelli. The idea that kicks off so much of this is that two guys, Clark and Floyd, work together, they befriend one another, and they eventually get on a dating app, hence DTF St. Louis, that's the name of the app. Now, we're non-spoilers. Am I wrong in the last episode or two being a lot less revealing? And is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, they're getting closer to the truth, right? So they almost have to slow down because it's getting messy.
Did the penultimate episode feel a little bit more filler-like for you, or were you okay? Maybe the answer is yes, but I'm okay with it, or no, it didn't.
It didn't. I think we're right back to what you brought up of wanting all the puzzle pieces, and I think in that way maybe it was filler, but I don't think it was a filler episode of television because we learned more about the characters.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of where I am with it. Although when I finished the penultimate episode, I thought to myself, I think I could have known all that. I think I knew all of what happened, just not the specifics. You know, I knew the outline. I just didn't know who, what, where.
I think I've said every time we've talked about this show that it feels 1 degree off.
Yeah.
Like all the social interactions and everything. And to me, it continued to develop that idea of like, how far are you willing to go with these characters to give them empathy? In a way, and to see what they're doing is admirable. When like if you had taken some of the things that have happened in the last 2 episodes and like been told in episode 1, I'm not sure that you would view them the same way.
A lot of our listeners, I suspect, wait until the show's probably on a streaming network almost in full or in full, as is the case with DTF St. Louis now, and they may come to this part to hear if it's for them or not. Should I go resubscribe to HBO Max? Should I go add Netflix this month or not? Penultimate episode is where we are. Sorry, everyone. We're not quite to the finale. Do you recommend it?
I recommend it. It's for a specific viewer, I think. I don't know, you're saying, would you sign up for HBO for it? I'm not sure if it's that hearty an endorsement, but...
Pair it with Rooster?
It'd be a pretty good time.
Good time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Euphoria's coming back.
Yeah, you want to feel really weird? Wait until all of Euphoria's out and just binge that one day and then binge DTF St. Louis so that you can realize that life is messy from just every step of the way.
Yeah. Every point of view. Actually, DTF has been better than I thought it would be, so I'll give it the thumbs up. And if it can ring a chuckle from me and from my wife, that's usually a pretty good endorsement for a show. That there's some broader appeal out there.
If you like things that are painted in an odd color or come out as a tonally different series than you expected, I think this is a good one.
I mean, it's a series that isn't afraid to ask, are you down to friend?
Yeah, well, then what the F stands for friendship, right? Let's also talk about the HBO series we just mentioned. It airs after DTF St. Louis, created and ran by the prolific Bill Lawrence, whom we'll talk about again. It's the new Steve Carell comedy you may have seen by now if you're a listener. You may have seen advertisements or something like that. It's called Rooster. We mentioned it very briefly. It stars Phil Dunster, Danielle Deadweiler, John C. McGinley, and Charlie Clive as Carell's daughter. Set in a beautiful, wonderful New England liberal arts college town. Looks magnificent.
A leafy enclave.
Wow, you nailed it.
Thanks, man.
Rooster has Carell's author, Greg Russo, recently recruited to teach there, at this college we're talking about. That's the premise. You get that in the first episode. This one, too, getting in the back half, 10 episodes long, we have seen 5. What'd you think about episode 5 and maybe just the midpoint so far?
I can't stop thinking about the fact that people want to guess what's going to happen in this show.
Yeah,
why would you do that?
Yeah,
I mean, I know what they're. I know what they're going to guess, but we can wait till spoilers. I say that because this is just like a perfectly pleasant viewing experience. That it's not like potato chip kind of stuff. I think it's mainly because I think the writing is good, but the Steve Carell is just so good, and I know that we've said that a few times.
Just for reference, what is Potato Chip series for you?
I don't even know that I could think of one off the
Like
top
the
of my
challenge?
head. That scratches a whole different itch. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well, let's try The Office, going to Corel.
Yeah.
A little bit of...
I think that one, because it's on every single day, has obviously maybe transcended the genre. But yeah, like I'm not putting a lot of thought into what's going to happen next with these characters, but they do feel better written than maybe the show could have been.
Fleshed out, human.
Yeah, there's a version of the show with slightly worse writing and acting that is not even close to being on the same level. And I'm not saying this is like blowing the doors off the art of television, but it is a very fun show, and one that it's not like, oh yeah, there's a new Rooster. It's like, oh, we are going to watch the new Rooster, and we kind of actually save it for, like whenever the moment arises. It's not just like in passing, you throw it on. It's like, oh, we're doing this.
You mentioned to us this week, it's hard not to watch it instantly upon release. Is that kind of what you're getting at here?
Yeah, I would love to watch it on Sunday night when it airs. We end up, for some reason, it has taken over the Saturday lunch slot.
Oh, really?
With us. That can be a coveted spot. I know that's not every household operates that way, but yeah, it's just a good show. And maybe it's because I like campus novels, and even if they are not having intellectual discussions, they're in a place where all they do is kind of sit around and talk, and I like that.
I'll say it hits in the laugh department, too. I was thinking about this getting ready to watch this, because there are some things that the show does that sometimes, like, genuinely annoy me. Like, I'm like, because I think this is kind of on the edge of, or kind of related to what Adam said, that there's a version of this show where it's not quite as sharp. That's really obnoxious. And sometimes I feel like they're on the edge of that, but because they're as sharp as they are, they get away with it. But it'll, I'm like, at the end of the episode, I'm like, I laughed. I felt good about it. I love Steve Carell. Everyone else is. John C. McGinley is almost worth the price of admission. He's so funny.
He's no perfect in this role as the president. Yeah, I agree with that. I'd never thought of him as funny as he is here. Blasphemy for those who love Scrubs. I've seen a couple episodes of Scrubs, and I just never found him that funny.
It's easy to forget that he's funny in that show because he's supposed to be such a hard ass.
Yeah, he's gonna. I think that Bill Lawrence has recruited a whole different set of writers for this show, and it works well. For Shrinking, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they changed writers, if they've gotten too complacent. This will segue into Shrinking a little as it's wrapped its third season. It improved as the season went on. If you're thinking about Apple TV Plus, am I going to go watch the third season of Shrinking now that it's done? I think that you got to bear with it a little. And I didn't like that part. A couple episodes in the early season just weren't. They felt stagnant. And it felt as though they were very complacent with how they're going to write their characters. They weren't going to challenge the characters or us as viewers. Not that I have to be pushed to the extreme in every single episode of television I watch, especially for a show like that, but you don't want the feathers ruffled a little in order to have conflict, in order to have new experiences, in order to show you another facet of life that they haven't shown you already.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was a back half heavy season of television, and I really enjoyed. Maybe I think we can identify the turning point. I don't know if it's been out long enough that we can mention that in the spoiler-free segment. We won't, because people may watch the whole season.
That it was around, episode 7, give or take, maybe 6?
I can't remember exactly which one it was.
Yeah.
But there is an event that kind of turns things a bit. And it was like fine before that, but it felt like it went from treading water to...
Kicking in?
Yeah, a little more...
A little more swimming?
I mean, it may have been I'd have to go back and watch earlier seasons to compare, but it felt like it was... Now I'm going from swimming to running, but back at full stride.
I try to take a series as it comes to me. But I remember that first season of Shrinking and thinking that, wow, that was a missed opportunity not having Jason Segel's character of Jimmy being a lonely, broken dad, single dad at this point, who's battling addiction issues, drinking issues, while trying to raise a daughter in this lush neighborhood. I thought, man, you're missing an opportunity for some comedy. Instead, he cleans up his act in like the first 10 minutes of episode 1. And that's the direction they wanted to go, and that's fine. That's how I'll judge it. But boy, how funny would this show have been if Jason Segel was still boozed up and coked up, doing ecstasy with strippers out by the pool, and while also loving his daughter very much and trying to raise her. Now that's comedy. I'm sorry.
Instead, he just continues to feel bad for himself.
That's right. Yes. That's more like it. Good.
Here's to feeling bad for yourself all the time.
Luckily, I'm a little over that. I have a feeling some of our listeners will love Shrinking. I know I loved some of the episodes. I actually did. I know it probably felt like I took a big dump on a lot of this, but I just had high expectations with the acting and the writing and what it's given to me. I don't think it was as good as previous seasons, but that's okay. It still had some standout episodes later in the other bit I was going to toss off earlier. If anyone's checking in for recommendations, I cannot stop laughing and enjoying the fall and rise of Reggie Dinkins. Might be more of a potato chip kind of show, but boy, it's good. I dole them out every couple of days. I'm a little behind from being in the hospital, but I started doling them out every 2 or 3 days. Give me a boost of happiness.
We've been doing the same thing, Blaine, just kind of, and I think it is a potato. I could blow through. This is whatever like wavelength they're on. I could just blow through it in an hour. This is also, it's funny that this has been a repeat recommender because I was organically recommending, like we were just talking about TV, and I was like, I've been really like, have you seen Rise and Fall or Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins? Just organically, because it was on the top of my head because it make me laugh so much.
This is the one with Tracy Morgan as an ex-football player. It's got Harry Potter as his director. So that's his
Harold.
name, right?
He's a grown-up.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
He's a man. That's 2-time Tony Award winner Harold Potter to you.
Okay.
Or maybe it's just one.
Well, in the show, he plays an Oscar winner director who's filming Tracy Morgan as the ex-football player as Reggie Dinkins. If you laughed a little bit, even a little bit at Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, you're going to love this one. It's the same creators. It's a breath of fresh air from our current times. Give it a shot. I really think you're going to enjoy it no matter who you are. The only episode that dipped even a little was the second one. I don't think even Donovan considered it as low as I did. But
No, it wasn't a big dip. The first one's very funny. Second one is okay. I think.
And third one's very funny.
The third one's great. I think the second one, for me, I'm reflecting on it, I think they didn't use Daniel Radcliffe as well as they could have in the second episode. But I think they kind of recover that step from on there. And there's some. I didn't know he was as funny as he is. Like, he's very good at playing off of Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, put him in a situation where he's a little awkward.
Yeah.
He's good. I suppose this time next week we'll be talking about the new Zach Galifianakis series on Netflix where he interviews kids about gardening. I hate Adam's not going to be here for this.
Could really weigh in on that.
Have you heard of this?
I have, yeah. I watched the ad.
Yeah, I just found out about it last night, and I was like, why haven't I heard of this?
This is the first time hearing of this.
I did not even watch the ad. I just hit add to my watch list.
He says something really nice about, like, if everybody just gardened and went outside, the world would be a different place.
Probably.
Yeah, he's big
I
on
agree.
Outdoors and being
Psychedelics.
part of nature.
Yeah.
Of course, next week, we're going to throw Donovan in the deep end of the Euphoria pool. Should be interesting to see how he reacts to my reactions.
I have seen now a commercial for Euphoria, so I think I have a pretty good grasp of what's going on.
Did you?
Does it start this week?
It starts, tonight it starts.
So tonight, I know that this is, bear with us listeners, we're getting Euphoria, DTF St. Louis, and then here comes the Rooster.
That's correct, sir.
Wow.
Time to resubscribe to HBO.
We're going to take a break here, and on the other side, we'll talk same order of things, DTF St. Louis, Rooster, and then Shrinking. Let's take a break. If you ever wish to help out the Alabama Take and its podcast, including this one, you can go to thealabamaTake.com, click on Buy Me a Coffee. That's simply a donation site for websites and podcasts like ours. You can change the amount that you'd wish to give. You can make it recurring, but any donation, any help is very much appreciated. We'll put a link in the show notes for you. Let's get back into the episode where the spoilers will begin. Okay, we're back. We have a listener email to begin this spoiler section. It's about DTF St. Louis, where we're going with this. It's from our podcasting friend Tim Hamilton. Tim sometimes sends us emails and talks about what we've been talking about. Tim's the co-host of SETI BIMCO, The Revenge Part 2, where they discuss B-movies and the sequels that they probably don't deserve at all. But to give Tim some benefit here, he sent this on March 31st. So if you want to back up with me. And he writes, just wanted to say I love DTF, but the way the onion keeps peeling every week, we could find out that Clark Forrest's wife is under the bed in the hotel listening to him have sex all along. And I'd be like, sure, that's what's happening.
Yeah, tracks.
Yeah.
Yep.
I suspect that Floyd's stepson may play a part in Floyd's accidental death, but with this show, who knows? That's exactly kind of well the page we're on.
Yeah.
I thought that this most recent episode, Donovan hasn't seen it, and he's still going to stick around for this, because I told him I don't think that it gave us a lot that we wouldn't have already just guessed. Everything that it showed, I thought to myself, yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
You had seen the title to the episode,
The Denny's Plan.
The Denny's Plan. You could have guessed what Jason Bateman's character got up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I did, kind of. I thought, he's got to find somebody to sub in for this.
To go full on. Sorry, we're switching to sign language now, so you'll have to follow along.
You know, we may switch to video, honestly, because Apple Podcast is now allowing you to switch from video to audio just seamlessly. It's something I may toy with. I don't know. We'll see. But I just did the sign for full on.
His repetition of the way he says that over and over is every time it gets funnier.
It's very funny, and
it's hilarious.
The way he plays this is so sincere that there is a hilarity to it. There's the sincerity.
It's like, I just want to be there with you, just full on.
But no, Adam, I kind of guessed he's got to be the one to have sent the message or the like or whatever you do on DTF's app. And I was just thinking, well, he's not gonna. What happens if Floyd says, I want to go meet this guy. I know I'm not gay, or bisexual, but I want to go meet.
$500 is $500. That kind of situation.
You got it. Reminds me of the Norm Macdonald stand-up where he talks about the dessert guy, and then it ends up with a blowjob in the bathroom. Do you like something decadent? Like, listen, guy, I don't know what you're going to get. But if this is going to end with a blowjob in the bathroom. But yeah, I thought, if you would have told me this plot for episode, 6? Penultimate episode, I would have said, yeah, I thought that was going to happen. Clark does go to Chicago, does go to Denny's in a very gay neighborhood.
This was very funny to me because this is,
you've been to this Denny's?
I've been to that neighborhood, yeah, many times.
Okay, that's fair.
But it's just like part of what you would, I know downtown is like the Loop, whatever, but like if you spend any time in urban Chicago, like Wrigley Field is like right there. You know what I mean? This is not like, but it is common knowledge that this is a gay neighborhood. It's not really hard to figure out. But for a man to hatch this plan and then be like, I need to find a guy in this neighborhood, I'm going to go to a Denny's, was very funny to me. That was such a suburban impulse. Not going to go to like get on Google and be like, where's the good bar? Where's the wherever? It's like, I'm going to go to Denny's and like have the most awkward conversation with my waiter that I possibly can.
Having worked one of my first 2 jobs in a grocery store, that the conversation Clark has with the waiter, that's a very real conversation.
Do you want to say anything else about that?
I've just had some weird conversations with people who I imagine were just there to buy groceries and then suddenly decide, let me say really awkward things about sex and this or that.
Like offering you $900 to go full on?
Not quite, but they would hint that it's okay if I were to ask for things. I did find it funny in the way that the series has been funny all the way through. it's how the very specific plan was to involve someone to get full on from Floyd in order to give him a boost of confidence. It's not enough that the person shows up and doesn't get erect. It's like, it would be great if you could just get a hard on for Floyd. Could you do that for us? That's such a specific request.
This is one of a long list of things that I was getting at in the intro when I said, if you would just like read a bullet point list of, here are the things that you'll actually feel mildly empathetic with these characters about. And like one is like, I just want somebody to get a boner, you know? But like everything that he says while very poorly shooting hoops, when he tries to get Clark to shoot and he's like, I don't want to shoot. that was really funny. But like the whole like monologue about there's no hiding it's only honesty if a dude has that reaction, you know, you can't lie.
He's just attracted to you and that will make you feel good.
Yeah.
Are you not flattered? The second thing that it does, I think, that goes really well with something it's been doing throughout the season is how it's constantly played with masculinity. And that really goes right there with what Adam was saying, how he didn't even feel like shooting the basketball. We could rattle off a list. I'm going to do a short one. First, Floyd allows a guy to kiss him. His wife is an umpire. He poses in a magazine that's traditionally a gay publication. He's got this idea of, in order to be manly and good looking, I got to lose weight. He doesn't have a car, which hinders his confidence, sort of erodes it. He's unable to provide for his family because of that. So there's this lack of purpose. I've actually read a piece recently from Dr. Scott Galloway out of NYU. He wrote a piece of nonfiction, Notes on Being a Man, which is not quite what you think. He talks about how there's a certain kind of masculinity that sort of falls between toxic and being helpless, and that's what's being lost in today's society of men. That because they're feeling lost and helpless, they turn to this toxic style of masculinity. And Floyd's sort of caught up in that, where he's like, I'm helpless, I'm not attractive, I can't get a guy to get full on for me. It's just such a good play of masculinity and what that means to us now.
I think all that's true, but he also has no problem being like a sweet guy.
Right, he's got that part down. It's the rest that he's missing, and it makes him feel lonesome and purposeless, maybe.
But is it toxic masculinity to feel worse because you can't provide for your family, or?
No, I would say that's that balance I'd say that's that balance that Dr. Galloway points out, and I agree with. I'm saying that like the minor parts of it. I don't have a car. That's okay. You don't have to feel, you'll get a car maybe. Clark appearing in a very bright pink shirt on a wine trip that you usually associate with the girls doing. They're kind of tossing that in your face and saying, what do you think?
They don't give a shit. They're just out there being bros.
Guys don't give a fuck.
That was great. And I do like the casting with David Harbour and Jason Bateman as because I think you're totally right, Blaine, like looking at masculinity as they're also kind of playing with like almost like the David Harbour. He seems like maybe a more authentic kind of guy in a way than Jason Bateman might be. And I think it's very cleverly, I think their relationship is very cleverly balanced, I guess is what I mean.
It's very atypical for two guys.
Well, then
is that an understatement?
That's an interesting point, Donovan, that they're using Jason Bateman, who I like a lot, but who you immediately buy as like kind of an image-obsessed weatherman. Like, that's not hard to do. But then really, since he puzzled the detectives by saying, I loved Floyd, everything that he's done since then has been shown to be like, his motivations are pretty pure.
Yeah. I think that's part of what I meant when I said this was better than I thought it would be, because I didn't guess that we were going to have that level of feeling or complexity at the first episode. It seemed like we kind of knew like, oh, there's a twist, but we can kind of see which way this is going.
And they do a nice job to the point of masculinity or modern malaise, suburban loneliness, whatever, using I think it was in the penultimate episode, his stepson as kind of a mirror to his character, to say like, when you get older, it'll be better, which also is a callback to that first episode that like, we want you to get good grades in life. You know what I mean? Like it's not as big, but I don't know, it makes you, both of them are recontextualized immediately that, he tells the kid just wants somebody to say, those guys suck whenever he gets made fun of, like somebody to kind of lick your wounds with. And now his stepdad has found that, but like, it's so complex. It's so unbelievably complex.
That complexity, that sadness, loneliness is what makes it such a tonal jolt, because it's also very funny, as we've mentioned.
I think there's an example from the wine trip that is exactly this, because, like we know that Floyd is burdened by all of these things, and like, it clearly weighs on him. But there's a bit where like he's confiding in Clark, right? And he's like, I worry at night that guy knew that I wasn't into French kissing him. It's like in the midst of all these like really dark things like that, he's like, this is one of the things keeping him up at night. So the guy knew he wasn't really into it.
The show does revel in taking something you expect and turning it upside down on occasion, which is exactly what they did with Bob Dylan's Forever Young opening an episode.
Blaine, since it started, I've thought, what did Blaine Duncan think of this?
I was also wondering.
I just kept thinking, does Jeff Kramer, Dylan's manager, that actually may be his tour manager, Jeff Rosen, Dylan's manager, does he know what they were going to do with this song when he approved? I'm dying to know that. So that's all I could think about was just asking someone, did they know? Or did they just say, give me the check?
He could be into it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Someone explained the entire plot of the series to Bob Dylan over the phone, and then there was a long pause, and then he said yes.
It is like a very unique, almost, I won't call it Dylan-esque, but like it's American weirdness, in a way that Dylan may not be so different from.
Midwestern weirdness is Bob Dylan's forte.
It's very Midwestern, very just strange.
It's very on the edge of like what the Coens will, not in exactly the same thing, but there's stuff sometimes like if you've ever seen A Serious Man, you're kind of like, oh yeah, I see some parallels here.
The other parallel I couldn't help but make is I just rewatched Lodge 49 and Run, Don't Walk to watch this show, everyone. That was our second trip through. But that is also a show where people just cannot get out from under the heel of capitalism. It's crushing at all times. And I do think Carol, as dislikable as she is, that moment that she had where she was talking about debt, and like how you think, I'm going to get a promotion, I'm going to get a raise, like there will be an end to this, and it never comes. And now these are people who, how much can they really improve their station at this point? Is this just like what life is for them? It feels, those moments, it is funny. I mean, sometimes I have like a physical reaction to watching the show that like the despair is so strong that I did not have to something like Lodge or to like a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah. Citing that incident, I also had a reaction to that because it's true. It's pernicious.
Maybe it's not too big of a stretch, but it does call back to me something David Lynch loved to explore, the banality of suburban life, the dangers that surface when there's so much similarity in everything.
Yeah. The P.O. Box thing was both funny and like, oh, this is the meeting point of everyone's otter side,
I was so embarrassed listening to that P.O. Box trick. I'm like, I've been shipping my dildos to my house like an asshole.
Direct. they hit the front door with a thud.
No way, Jose.
Were you relieved that phrase got some clarity? I certainly was, because man, it bothered me every time she said it.
It made me laugh every time. I don't know why. It was just something. She's like, nope, no way, Jose, no way.
I just thought it went back to that banality of their lives. It's just another way of emphasizing it. What really kills me in the most recent episode, though, which we haven't unpacked, because again, I just don't think there was a ton of things that zigged or zagged either way. The one maybe big moment of zag was just Clark yelling, "Beware," at work.
So weird.
Hilarious, though. Have you ever not found yourself in that situation where you're just like, I am stuck in a mental loop right now and I need to break it?
That was so strange. I know what he's getting at, but it was...
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I love that it also tied back into the opening credits, because I asked, I think you, maybe even offline, where I was like, why is he doing karate?
There you go. We finally found out. I think the opening to this, by the way, and it usually takes like, I think the most recent episode was like 11 minutes in before they rolled the credits or something like that.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That opening shot with that song and him kind of backlit and he's like motioning along the green screen. It's a great opening.
It is a great opening.
It is good.
It's weird.
Yeah, fits it. Well, let's wrap here with DTF St. Louis. We still didn't get the reveal of what Carol was convicted of doing. Does it matter? Is that the big thing we need to figure out how all this comes together?
She broke into a Jamba Juice.
Because she wanted some money back. Jeez,
Yeah.
can't blame her. Don't know. We're not going to speculate, but I just think as a plot point, it was odd not to have that come up in the timeline I guess we were in.
Agreed. And there was a run of episodes where, like, I won't try to say which ones they were because I'm forgetting, but like where you left thinking, oh, it was someone else every time, like Clark, and then her, and then like now a few completely total uncertainty, and she wasn't even really in the penultimate episode all that much relative to her involvement in earlier ones. So I feel like that's going to balance out.
Moving on to more lighthearted fare, the other HBO show we'll discuss today is Rooster, the Steve Carell show. I think he's as good as he was in The Office, if not a little bit more mature, better, has a depth to it probably that's needed here.
He does such a good job being a guy putting up a good front, I think, is what he did. And it kind of breaks through sometimes. And like he's still good at, like, he'll say and do things that it's like, indeed, that was awkward, but that's the point, right? Like that's who he is.
Exactly, and it makes him relatable. Even if you're not incredibly awkward yourself, you felt it.
Very sympathetic character.
There were a few things that did, that he'll do that made me laugh, like when he wears his old minor league hockey team jersey and he's just and he's like, uh-oh. Like he figures out the mascot after, what were they, like the Chiefs or something? It was something like that. He has to turn it inside out.
Yeah. I love that they're bringing back the hockey coach. I thought he was a familiar actor, and seeing him up close made me realize I've seen him in a couple things that he is funny. So Carell, Greg Russo is going to be helping coach. I think that's a good move. That's a good writing move.
I mean, you got to get Steve Carell on skates if you can.
It's a good point.
This is a recurring theme in his career.
I saw a bit of flack being taken by the Elizabeth Strauss character, Greg's ex-wife. Did you see her as some malevolent force?
She shines a light sort of on, not Rooster. Sorry, I got to pull up the cast. Archie. I don't know how I could forget that. I think she kind of shines a light. She's sort of his Archie.
Right.
And I don't think she was like malevolent. Maybe she's not going to do the best thing, but I thought there's not malevolence here because she's at least able to say, like, you know what, I am selfish. Like I did do what I wanted to do because I wanted to do it. And I don't think Archie is anywhere close to that.
Does that make her a better person that she knows that and did it anyway?
I don't know if it makes her a better person, but I think that like
does self-awareness get you a gold star there?
I don't think it gets you, like, I think when you hurt people, you still hurt them.
Yeah.
Whether you knew it was wrong or not. But I do think that, like, maybe there's been enough, like, life to be like, okay, like, I can be this person and I can acknowledge that.
Maybe if you know not to put yourself in situations where you might hurt someone again, that would be different. But in a way, she is kind of playing a similar character to what she did in White Lotus season 1, where she becomes pretty unlikable. And I don't know if there's some hostility towards, the signposter there for, like, oh, you're just kind of like a cold corporate kind of, I'm going to take what I want kind of person who definitely runs against all of the heartwarming academia that's been happening so far.
That's a good point. I think that may have answered my question.
Yeah.
Malevolent might be too harsh of a term, whereas she's definitely supposed to be the opposite of Greg.
Well, she immediately hurts Greg, and she makes the poor president uneasy. And we see when is that guy's confidence down? Because it's shot to hell in this episode.
That's a good point, yeah.
Her daughter seems to have completely forgiven her, which is funny that she goes to her for advice, despite knowing not only did she break the family up, but she did exactly what she needs advice about.
Right,
which they acknowledge in the show, but it's still a funny thing.
Archie is still likable, I will say. I know that he's supposed to be a bad guy to a degree for the series and a bad person if he were real, but you still can't help but chuckle and kind of laugh along with his stupidity, or maybe at his stupidity, maybe not with, but
it's like they even make that physical when John McGinley's like, what kind of workouts do you do? And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't work out. And he still looks like that. And it's like, oh, that's kind of his whole thing.
Yes, it's
proof John
exactly that.
McGinley can play against anyone. Here in the sauna, they pair him up with Archie. I loved it.
That
They
was
both
so
shined.
funny when he threw him out for
Yes,
just being like, I eat whatever I want. He's like, get out.
Yeah. And you know he's still going to talk to the guy in the next episode. You know, it's not like I'm not seriously holding this against you, but I'm also a little pissed off.
You still need to leave right now.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I think unless the show takes a really dark turn, I think that every character is, so far is like, okay, yeah, like even the bad ones are like, it's too, like you said, it's to a degree. And also the fact that Phil Dunster is very good at playing like an egotistic person, and we get to see that person get beat with a ladle by Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Like that kind of helps even it out there.
The low effort of looking good does not hinder Archie's characterization. It's perfect. The thing with this show, which is what Shrinking got wrong often, I thought, is that the characters are likable, even those with the huge flaws. It's something they haven't managed to do in Shrinking, I don't think.
The closest to a true villain that this show has had so far is, I believe, Ronnie, the student who... That's the only person who, and even in the last episode, she told the professor, I didn't hate your class today.
Ah, yes. The antagonistic student.
Yeah. And then, of course, what's his face? The dean who's in the hospital. He was kind of, but he's hardly in it.
Yeah, oddly enough. Let's go to the students. Do they make or break the show for you? Because for me, Greg's interaction with them might be some of my favorite moments.
I think it's great.
They've done a good job with the students that they put in his class too. I appreciate that the whole show is not just like a thing about how like the kids are too woke, right? Like Greg is sincerely trying to meet young people where they are, and sometimes, and like I feel like it did so good by not even not even glancing, and that's the direction we're going to go. And it's like, so we get to see Greg trying to figure out like both of the characters were horses. Like, oh, okay, that makes so much more sense, right? Like he's genuinely engaging with these kids. Even that was such a good bait and switch with the president too, because kind of in the first episode he rumbles a little bit like that. And then that's not it at all. It was so smart, and it makes their interaction so much more fun.
I think there's a lot of heart with Greg and his students, and it's good comedy.
He's like their pal.
He's their pal. Tommy especially, who is almost another child of Greg's at this point. He makes me smile, and he's not the type of character I would have thought would make me happy to watch the show. I do think that there's an element here maybe that young people would find appealing too. Like, I am the student. What would that be like? And then for me as an adult, I am Greg, but what would it be like to relive some college stuff? Though Greg never went to college, so he's doing it the first time around.
He went straight to the minor leagues.
Tommy's the student who's doing it all wrong, and maybe even for the wrong reasons, but you can't help but like him. I'm speaking as a teacher, as the professor. I told you not to use AI. He did still use AI, but yet at the same time, you like the guy. I've been there a few times.
Learn how to lie, Tommy.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
Good balance, I think, of characters, and this takes me to what I was told you I was going to mention, the thing that people are just scratching to figure out. Some people are, who's Tommy's dad and mom now that he's admitted he's there on campus because his mom works. They're trying to figure out if Crystal's his mom and Greg slept with her.
That's pretty good. I don't mind that
would be
sleuthing.
if that happens, that would be funny.
Or that the hockey coach is his dad.
That'd be less funny.
Don't know. Can you imagine
think so.
drunk dad coming home and saying,
Well,
hi?
he's just on Mick Ultras now.
That's a good sign.
I did Annie, I think her name is Momolo, who plays the Christy. Crystal, sorry. Yeah. The when she shows Greg that photocopy and she like looks him in the eye and is like, it's just a form that you'll behave better when you're on campus. And she has him initial on 2 random places on this. That is comedy.
It's not a Volvo.
One of the better moments. We got the student who only calls him Gerg. Which you always have that guy in class. I think it's good stuff. And that Xerox copy of herself, of her boobs, that's about as funny as you can make it.
Hey, he's a bad boy.
Have Carell react to something like that. That's where your money is.
Absolutely.
Lastly, we're going to talk about this season as a whole of the Apple TV series Shrinking. Jason Segel, Harrison Ford, almost playing father and son, but not quite. It makes me immediately ask, Adam, where does this show go without Harrison Ford?
Is he going anywhere?
They put him in Connecticut?
Well, Donovan lives in Connecticut, and we see him once a week.
Would they have internet still?
And which they implemented in this last episode. Gabby called the white person capital.
And then asked how many people it took to set up his Zoom, which was great. 4 was the answer.
Yeah. Harrison Ford still got it. Wow. He really delivered these last 3 or 4 episodes. On the flip side, I cannot find a redeeming scene with Summer. Why does this character exist again? Can we not write her a little more appealing?
Teenage silliness, right?
But she looks 26. I mean, come.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're both supposed to be
that.
18, and it's, yeah.
She's just unrealistically likable. As a father, giving that speech at the airport, I would have killed her. I would have shoved her down by her face.
Well, I mean, you've got, 10 years to learn to let go?
I do think that Brian's character got a lot funnier with the baby. A surprise I didn't see coming. Usually when you throw a baby in the mix, the characters get less interesting. He's funnier. It's really, which he probably did a lot. I just maybe didn't notice as much, but it really made him put a mirror in front of himself and say, God, I'm selfish.
Yeah. In the same way, the event that I was, of course, hinting at in the non-spoiler section is, you give a man a heart attack, it turns the whole program around.
With Derek, yeah.
Yeah, right. But in the same way, maybe the kid kind of clarified what... It feels like everybody's more on a set of tracks than they were before as characters. And I don't mean like they all have direction in life, but like they all have traction in a story.
Yeah, there's new friction.
Right.
And that makes them all more interesting, except for Summer. Even Liz got a little more interesting toward the back half. Her episode with Derek in the hospital turned her around a little bit, at least halfway.
I like her. I know that you weren't... she was maybe a little weak in the front half, but...
Yeah, she's just a little harsh there in the front half, I thought.
Yeah.
Overwritten. I thought the season ended up being okay. Quite middling. I think I got a docket those first 2 or 3 episodes.
I think I agree, but then... there was a point maybe in the doldrums early on where if you had tried to sell me on Harrison Ford and Jason Segel having this heart-to-heart at the end, I would think, are they going to really earn it? You know what I mean? And I think they did. I think that ended up being a pretty effective, I'll borrow your phrase there, friction in the penultimate episode and then resolution in the final.
They play well off each other, too. That helps.
Did you buy that ending?
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
When he sees him he says, "Oh, let's meet for breakfast." Did that do anything for you?
Yeah, it's just fine.
Full on?
Well, he probably got full on with Sophie being there.
That's true.
You knew they weren't going to let go of her unless it was contractual. Decent enough season. Picked up a lot, like you said, with Derek's heart attack. It put so many of these people on a page that they needed to be on, where they've got something to deal with other than what they were dealing with last season. Yeah,
they're all in a different place. And, I thought stuff like Gabby and Derek getting engaged, the proposal was very much in keeping with the show's vibe, I guess. But that was kind of like, oh, okay, this is a fun scene, whatever. Yeah. But the moment when they say out loud that Jimmy's going to be left alone, that like everybody's kind of jetting off at the same time in this.
Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah, that was well done. I kind of didn't expect to have that moment of like, we've kind of like laughed at their very upper class kind of community that they have going on, but still, if a lively place is suddenly quiet, that's tough.
You'll want to say posh community soon.
Posh. I was translating for y'all before I said
thank
it.
You. Yeah, thank you. I just think Jason Segel does the dramatic scenes way better than he does trying to deliver a joke. I mentioned this earlier a couple episodes ago, maybe last episode. Although his Harrison Ford impression's pretty good and funny.
It is pretty good.
Before I let you go, Adam, and everyone else, what did you think about that Gibson Jeff Daniels was playing?
I mean, that's part of the show, right? Is that we can kind of laugh at the fact that everybody has, like, don't they have like a Steinway piano too? Yeah. And like Gibson guitars.
Yes.
And nobody's just half-assing it out there.
Yeah, it's like that. It's almost like that Gibson Dylan holds on the front of Nashville Skyline. It's one of those really nice ones.
Great guitar.
Yeah, it is. Sounds good too. That's it for us. I'm appreciative of Adam and Donovan's time as well as yours. Always am. We'll bid adieu to Adam for a few weeks. Catch him over in the UK. Sister Ray Davies. When you see that on a poster in your neighborhood, know to get yourself a ticket before they sell out. I'm Blaine, and for Adam and Donovan, we hope that you and your friends be out to be in each other.
Full on.
Full on.